First year in real estate, I closed 4 deals. Now I average between 20 to 30 deals a year. Today, I'm going to show you the open house system that I use to build 80% of my business from repeat and referral customers. And I know what you're thinking. Chrissy, open houses don't work. They're just for looky-loos and nosy neighbors. Yeah, I used to think that too, until I stopped treating open houses like an event and started treating them like a conversion system. If you're an Arizona agent, especially in the Phoenix metro area, stick with me, because at the end of this video, you're either going to completely change how you run open houses, or you're going to want me to teach you how. Before I break down the system, let me give you some context. Before I was a realtor, I spent 15 years as a social worker, specifically in foster care and adoption. And that experience taught me something that changed everything about how I sell real estate today. Home isn't just a building. It's where families are made. It's where people feel safe. It's where the biggest chapters of life happen. So when I got into real estate, I didn't want to be the agent who just sold houses. I wanted to be the agent who guided people home. And open houses became my favorite way to do that. Not because of the sign-in sheets and not because of the free cookies. Because it's the one place where strangers walk in already interested, and I get to have a real conversation with them. The problem? Most agents have no idea what to say when someone walks through that door. They default to, feel free to look around, and then they hope for the best. That's not a strategy. That's a wish. Let me show you what I do instead. First thing you need to understand, there's a path. Every successful open house follows the same 5 steps, whether you realize it or not. Step 1, the meet and greet. This is your first 4 seconds, the energy that you bring when somebody walks in. Step 2, rapport and trust building. This is where most agents skip straight to. So, are you working with an agent? That's a bad idea. We'll come back to this. Step 3, value proposition. This is where you show them what makes you different. Not your brokerage, not your team, you. Step 4, objection handling. We're just looking, or we already have an agent. We're not ready. You need a framework for this. Step 5, the appointment. This is the whole point. Everything leads to this point. Now, most agents either skip steps or do them out of order. They try to close before they've even built trust. They never even ask for the appointment. Inside my program, I teach specific scripts and frameworks for each of these 5 stops. But today, I'm gonna give you the big ideas because honestly, the big ideas alone might change everything for you. Now, let's talk about rapport. This is where I see agents blow it every single time. For example, they ask, why are you looking to move? Sounds normal, right? But here's the problem. Why questions create defensiveness? The person on the other end feels like they're being interrogated. I learned this in my social work days. When you ask a foster parent, why didn't you call us sooner? They shut down and they feel judged. Same thing happens at an open house. So instead, I teach something called the pyramid of trust. The very top of that pyramid, we have who questions. These are high energy and they invite connection. Questions like, who is making this move with you? Who else is part of this decision? In the middle, we've got the what, where, when, and how. These are fact-gathering, mid-energy. They're useful once trust is built. The very bottom of that pyramid is why. This is a very low-energy question. It can create that defensiveness, so use sparingly, or better yet, don't use it at all. When you shift from why are you here to who's moving with you, you change the entire dynamic. Because at the end of the day, you're not an interrogator, you're a guide. I help my students create a whole bank of these questions customized for their specific niche. But just knowing this framework, you're gonna be ahead of 90% of agents. Now, here's where most agents completely fall apart, asking for the appointment. They have a great conversation, they build real connection, and then, well, feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and they're gone. Forever, you never hear from them again. Here's the truth, most buyers don't know what their next step should be. They are waiting for you to lead. So here's a simple 3-step framework for making that ask. Step 1, validate their current phase. And you can say, I totally get it, you're just getting started. Step 2, drop your value proposition by saying, I work with first-time buyers who feel overwhelmed and I guide them step by step through a personalized buyer consult. Step 3, and lastly, you make that ask. Would that be helpful for you? That's it. And if they say no, I teach something called the 3X approach, because you should be willing to ask at least 3 times, just differently every time. You rewind to rapport, repackage your value, and offer another option. Most agents ask once, if at all, and then they give up. The confident agents, they assume leadership. Because here's what I believe, you're not selling, you're serving with structure. That mindset shift changes everything. Last thing I'll share today, and this one's very subtle but powerful. Not every no is the same. Sometimes people say, we can't buy until our lease ends in November. That's not an objection. That's a condition. That's a fact. That's something that's outside of their control. Other times they say, we're worried about overpaying in this market. That's an objection. It's a feeling. It's something that's within their control. Conditions require a plan and objections require a conversation. Most agents treat everything the same. They hear hesitation and they freeze. But when you know the difference, you can respond with confidence objections, you can guide them forward instead of letting them just walk away. And here's a framework I teach my students and what I've been using the last few years. It's called the AAA approach. Acknowledge, ask, and address. This handles objections without feeling pushy or salesy. Because here's the reality, objections are often buying signs in disguise. When someone says, we're just getting started, that's not a no. That's a green light to offer help. So look, I just gave you a lot. The conversion path, the pyramid of trust, the ask framework, conditions versus objections. And honestly, if you just implement what I shared today, your open houses will already be better than most agents in Arizona. But if you want the full system, the scripts, the frameworks, the objection handlers, the follow-up framework, the tracking tools, and 4 weeks of live one-on-one coaching with me and a small group of agents who actually want to get better, this is what Open House Mastery is for. It's a 4-week live program, max 10 agents per cohort. We meet weekly, practice together, and you walk away with a complete system that sounds like you and not some generic script you found online or that chat wrote for you. I built this program because I got tired of watching talented relationship-first agents lose business to pushy salesperson who just happened to have a system. You deserve a system too, one that fits how you already work. If that sounds like something you want, click the link in the description and you can learn more about the program and book a quick call to me to see if it's the right fit. Thanks for watching. I'll see you at the next open house.